Well, it's great to be here. And I really want to take a minute to think about why am I here? Right? It's a good question we should all ask ourselves. But why am I here? I spent 23 years at the cutting edge of climate and energy innovation. So what do I know about AI, right? Well, it's really something that I think is the most important thing. You'd think I'd be talking about the emissions associated with the energy from this, but I know enough about climate that that's a rounding error. If you care about that number, you should learn more about deforestation, methane emissions, and a lot of other things. It's really, I think, one of the only tools that's going to help us move fast enough and in the right direction. So what I have done, I have helped thousands of entrepreneurs over the years start hundreds of companies. The class that I teach, we've had over 62 companies come out of the class, another 100 plus that those alums have founded. They've raised over $7 billion. We are nowhere near moving fast enough to solve the climate problem. So I think it's really, AI is the only thing that's going to help us. On my end, I've actually walked the walk as well. So I've started companies. I took one from idea to public company. I've closed deals with multi-million-dollar deals with customers and worked with some of the biggest suppliers in the world. And having seen how things are actually operating in the economy, AI native companies will absolutely dominate. So that's what I think. So raise your hand if you think that AI native companies are going to outcompete non-AI native companies in pretty much any sector. Okay, I'm in the right place. All right, so raise your hand if you're a CEO or have ever been a CEO. All right. So there's a lot of CEOs here. All right, now I want you to think about how much time, as a percentage of time, you spent engaging with investors, customers, partners, or potential employees. So think of that number in your mind. Now raise your hand if that number's over 50%. Okay, keep it up if it's over 60%. Keep it up if it's over 70%. All right, keep it up if it's over 80%. 90%? Raise it high. Anybody? A couple? All right, 95? All right, 98's the highest I've heard, but most CEOs that I talk to about that, it's 50 to 80% of their time is outwardly facing and engaging with investors, customers, partners, and employees. And so at Maigent, we're focused on making this part of your job better, making it easier for CEOs and companies to engage with these critical drivers of business, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's customers, right? Everybody else is about how to get more customers, but that's what we're focused on. And we do that by making a private AI for a superconnector, all right? A superconnector is someone that is already helping dozens or even hundreds of CEOs and companies. And a superconnector, they basically help immediately. So like a 30-minute call, 5-minute email, maybe an hour-long follow-up, and it's a multi-million-dollar outcome. And I realized I was a superconnector when I could talk to almost any CEO in the climate and energy space, ask them what they're doing, what they need, and then rattle off the top of my head, 5 or 10 intros that ended up being helpful. And by helpful, I mean like lead investor, big customer, strategic partnership. There was one company where it was a 30-minute call, 5-minute email. I had an hour-long follow-up with a strategic partner. And about 2 years later, one of the board members said that saved that company from raising $50 million of venture money, right? And so if that company does a 10x, that's like $500 million. Like I should be doing that all the time, right? All the time. So there are probably some superconnectors here. I can see some, so you better raise your hand. All right, if you've made $1 million outcomes with a quick intro, raise your hand. All right, so I knew you were going to raise your hand, Matt. So you are our beachhead market. So please come up to me and talk afterwards. I'd love to potentially help you build an AI for yourself. What do superconnectors do after the AI conference? We go to the Sharks game. So I got a box with Joe Thornton, who's the all-star, one of the best players ever, just getting retired. He's a former roommate. So He was a roommate when I was before and after MIT when he played for the Bruins. And I played hockey actually at MIT, believe it or not, hockey team there, football as well. And he would come to some of the games. So you can imagine the confusion of the opposing team and playing MIT hockey and the Joe Thorntons in the audience. All right, so we're basically making a private AI for superconnectors, right, that is built off of that individual's data, right? This is all about data. All right, how do you use that data to amplify something? In this case, it's the superconnector role, all right? And we enable the CEO to engage directly with the Maigent. So the Maigent owner can decide which CEOs they're trying to support. It could be an investment they've made. It could be they're an advisor. And that enables them to effectively engage with the network of the Maigent owner in a way that's better. Like I can only think of 5 or 10, but there's probably 50 for a lot of companies. So it makes me better at doing that. It also makes me more accessible, right? I can now give this to 10, 50, 100 CEOs, right? So I can really scale this process. And the example I'm going to walk through is for an investor, so for CEO. They describe their company. They say they're raising some funding, angel investors, venture. It's a $20 million raise. Let's do like $1 to $2 million checks. The CEO. This is all from the CEO's perspective. And then it comes up with the recommendations, right? So these are all people that I can just forward. These are all fake names, but the CEO can then say which ones they're interested in, right? Because maybe they already talked to somebody. But basically, that can run in the background. And so what I end up getting is, it's an email or information that I then review, forward, send off, as I would normally, right? So the CEOs don't get direct access because that's not how it works normally. It's like, send me the deck and I'll forward it. And there's a way for this to get better, right? As the CEOs are using it, it gets better. But it's better for the CEO and it's better for me, not for some big tech company, because this is all local, right? This can stay on my own machine if I want. Now imagine if your whole board had a Maigent, right? You're starting an A round, and within a few minutes, you've got 10, 20, 30, maybe 50 warm leads for your round that they can reach out to for you, right? Now imagine you do this with customers, with partners, potential employees, right? I was able to get probably half a dozen people in the Enternoc early, pre-IPO company that was in the Boston area, just because they were reaching out and asking for intros, and there you go. It worked out pretty well for some of them. All right, so really expanding this is the core role, the 50% time for a CEO. That's going to drive a lot more conversations, a lot more emails, and you cannot scale if you're not bringing in more automation. So just build a CRM. We've got a CRM that's built in, and this is between the CEO and the Maigent owner. The CEO might have their own spreadsheet. They might be using some tool to kind of run their process, but the Maigent owner does not want to deal with 50 different systems. They're going to deal with one system, and this is something that can keep that conversation moving. So CEO, obviously, superconnectors, but every other role, any position, eventually can have a Maigent, right? That individual can amplify the thing that they're good at doing. What is the best thing, best use of their time, and how do you amplify that? Right? That's where we see this going. And with just a handful of Maigents, we've already created over a $50 billion network that can help these companies scale. And I think we're living through this boundary, right? We are at the pre and post AI native company world right now. We're living through it. And in an AI native world, which is coming very, very soon, human latency is the choke point, and Maigent is the unlock. So thank you.